This video addresses work task 9.5.1, developing short food supply chain arrangements for the public procurement of food for primary schools in Serbia. Now, in this task, we set out with two clear goals. First, we wanted to help improve the quality of school meals provided to primary school children in Serbia. Second, we wanted to explore the possibilities for establishing short food supply chains for public procurement in the schools, involving more producers as suppliers. In terms of procurement, the key challenges are that each school procures its food individually, rather than through joint or central procurement. Budgets are small and depend on parental contributions. It's hard for the schools to get a good price because they lack economies of scale. Also, very few tenders are received. The average number of tenders received is 1, so many schools have to take what they can get from the market. This means that trade-offs between price and quality often have to be made, and this slide shows the small size of contracts for many suppliers. Schools therefore know that they have little market power, and naturally they look to protect their relationships with the limited pool of potential suppliers who are willing to bid for their contracts. It's therefore hard for them to risk breaking their current supply arrangements in favour of an unknown quantity in the form of a new entrant to the supply chain. This provided us with an ethical as well as a practical challenge as we sought to see if short food supply chains between local producers and schools could be brokered. It would not be ethical to suggest or recommend any supply relationship where there was any risk of detriment to the school or its parents and children. Armed with this knowledge, we conducted an analysis of supply possibilities to explore the potential for shortening the school's food supply chains. Our first approach was to speak with existing major suppliers. In short, what we were told was that if local producers could not compete with non-local producers on price, they were not favoured. So while there was some interest in working with local producers, it was only if the price was right. Next, we approached existing cooperatives of local producers to see if they were able and or willing to supply to primary schools through public procurement. However, these cooperatives were generally too big, having been set up or evolved for a different purpose to supply larger markets such as major retailers. Having established that there was no existing organisation formed from local producers that could be persuaded to come forward to supply the primary schools, we then began to examine the possibilities for the development of a new supply cooperative formed from local producers. When we approached them, the producers were sceptical of their chances of success in a previously unconsidered market to them. Some of the initial meetings with the producers raised a lot of important issues and questions. However, as these producers started to collectively work through their issues and questions and witnessed the interest and in principle support from other stakeholders, a strong commitment has developed to doing everything possible with support from the Strength2Food team to make a new cooperative work. In the end, the producers reached an agreement to form a new cooperative, Biologica, which came into being in March 2020. The first primary school in Serbia to procure fresh organic vegetables awarded the contract to the new cooperative in August 2020. Despite the complications of the COVID-19 situation, the school is now in its 6th month of using organic vegetables for school lunches. The establishment of this new cooperative, formed from high-quality, small-scale, local organic producers, has provided a demonstration of what can be achieved with a level of network brokerage and creative stakeholder engagement. For example, we had around 200 meetings with a wide range of stakeholders, from central government to school chefs, parents, and children. A very comprehensive list. With every one of them, we've worked carefully to understand what a win or lose looks like. And we believe the outcome is a win for everybody. For example, buying direct from the producers means there's no middleman charging an extra margin. And this helps to address the key issue of the affordability of high quality food. All around the world, where we see small scale, less intensive production, cooperatives are used to aggregate supply and organize producers into particular markets. This is not an unusual initiative then from that perspective. However, what makes it particularly interesting is the market shaping activity that has created a new supply opportunity from these producers to the schools. This solution was always out there waiting to be found. In Serbia, the same city government responsible for the management of the primary schools was also providing subventions to some of these organic farmers. However, the pieces of the jigsaw were not connected. Using the lever of public procurement, it has been possible to broker these arrangements and join up the dots. There is no reason why public contracting authorities should not be able to build similar constituencies of suppliers from local small and medium-sized enterprises using cooperatives as a means to aggregate their services and bid for public procurement contracts. This form of market shaping activity, which I've called Public-Co-operative Partnerships, has the dual benefits of levelling the playing field for local SMEs and of making supply markets more competitive. So I think it's an idea that could gain some traction. There is a good possibility for other countries or regions to look at what's been done and learn from our experience. So sometimes it's possible to form a market in such a way as to encourage these kinds of innovations and to engage with potential suppliers to build their capacity to compete. This is particularly important in a post-COVID-19 environment where we've not just a health crisis, but an economic one. And contracting authorities may be thinking about how they can use public procurement as a tool to restart the local economy. This issue potentially goes way beyond then the supply of better food to primary schools and could extend into all kinds of public procurement markets.